Are you always coming up with ideas? Do you marvel at successful business owners? Do you hate being told what to do? Ever take things apart just to see how they work? Are you a dreamer? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, this podcast is for you. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Pro Tapes and Specialties is the world leader in tape manufacturing and specialty conversion with over 40 years of experience. In addition to our pro brand of high-quality specialty adhesive tapes, we provide contract converting services that help improve your profitability, streamline your supply chain, and reduce inventory cost. We offer the most complete range of converting capabilities in the industry, such as cloth tape, double-coated tape, specialty tape, paper tape, masking tape,
vinyl tape, carton sealing tape, adhesive transfer tape, duct tape, foam tape, electrical tape, filament tape, foil tape, reflective tape.
And the tape just keeps on rolling. Visit us online today at www.protapes.com or call us at 800-345-0234. Pro Tapes, it's just how we roll.
Welcome to another fantastic episode of the Entrepreneur Enclave, Life's Coming Attraction. I am your host, Kevin Wortham. As we begin to expand our reach, going across the country, going around the world, we want to bring you this brother from Dallas, Texas, and we want to welcome Robert Pitre to the platform. Robert, welcome to the platform, my friend.
Well, thank you.
So before we get started, we want to give a huge shout out to Travis Wortham. And as you hear the last name, we're not related, but we're going to find out if we are. But Travis thought so highly of you, Robert. He says, I've got to interview you on the show. You are a wonderful and a fantastic entrepreneur doing your thing in Dallas. And so we want to hear all about it. So the first thing he said to me was that you were the largest landowner as a minority, as an African-American man in Dallas. Is that so?
Yes.
Wow.
We have 132 acres of land in the city of Dallas. And all this land is commercial.
Yes.
I own Skyline Ranch, which is a 90-acre facility that overlooks the skyline of Dallas.
Yes.
I have 26 acres on Interstate 45. I have a number, 3.4 acres, 4.7 acres, and just I bought land. My grandfather years ago told me to buy land because God was not making it anymore.
Yes, very true.
And it just kind of stuck. It stuck in my head about buying land.
Yes.
And that's, and I guess, I went in business.
Yes.
About 48 years ago. I had three $100 bills, and, I kind of come out the streets of America.
Yes.
And just felt that, I want to do it. And Dallas was an opportunity. My sister went to college here.
Yes.
And I just thought Dallas was a place, in my travel, where you was, cities like Philadelphia and San Francisco, the cost of living and the living conditions was totally different from Dallas. My sister had a brand new apartment with new carpet and paying $150 a month.
Wow.
I could not believe it.
Wow.
And then I seen opportunities,
Yes.
I grew up in the projects. My father died when I was 5 years old. It kind of made me tough because most of my friends, father was alive. Some of their mother and father was divorced.
Yes.
But their father would come pick them up on the weekend and they would go and do things. And, and it was like, but my mother's family was great. My uncle, I learned so much from my uncle, my grandfather. And, when I was 13 years old, I was a subcontractor for Gulf Oil Company. I learned how to work.
Robert, stop. At 13?
13, I was a subcontractor for Gulf Oil.
How were you a subcontractor? Did you look 13?
Yes.
Okay.
But here's the deal. There was a man named Mr. Tom. He drove tanker trucks, gasoline trucks for Gulf Oil Company.
Yes.
And it was his job to wash the 3 tanker trucks
yes.
every weekend.
Yes.
So my deal was that I knew I'd drive a standard shift,
Yes.
and he picked me up. I go out there and, I put the tanker truck in gear, pull it off in the rack,
yes.
get on top of it, scrub it down with a push broom and rinse it off and go park it, pick up another one, and drive it, wash it, put it back, park it. And it was 3 tanker trucks. Now, Gulf Oil Company paid Mr. Tom
yes.
$25 per truck.
Yes.
Mr. Tom also had a service station. And
yes.
after I washed the 3 tanker trucks, I go to the service station, pump gas, because, there was no self-service service station back then.
Yes.
It was. So I go there and, and I check their oil, wash their windows, put gas in the car. And, and at the end of the day, he paid me $10. Wow. When I went home, I got home, I gave my mother $5. I kept $5. Yes. I had more money than most of the kids in the project.
Wow.
But it taught me how to work.
Yes.
And that's kind of been, working. I know how to work. And, I grew up, in a strong background. My mother was a maid, because during that period of time, you could only be a maid or a school teacher if you was a female.
Yes.
So I, but my grandfather took me to the auction when I was about 15 years old.
Yes.
And bought me a car for $212.50.
Okay.
So this car lasted, for after I left home, my mother drove it, but it introduced me to the car business.
Yes.
And I went in the car business in 1976 with 3 $100 bills. I bought a car for $272 at $28 operating capital. And, and friends say, man, I don't want to hear that. I know what I could do. So y'all just keep that. And I bought 1 car, sold it, bought another car, sold it,
yes.
Bought 2 cars, and kept on buying cars. And then I ended up finding this location not far from where I started.
Yes.
And went in business.
Wow.
Now, couldn't get these banks to loan no money.
Yes.
And races, Dallas air races, we're all over America for getting capital from banks. As a black person, that wasn't gonna happen, especially in Dallas. But I was always, going to these banks trying to get them to loan me money. And one day I went to a bank, and the lady asked me for my financial statement, and I told her financial statement. She said, "Yeah, I need you to tell me, all your assets." So she said, "Well, go over there in the bottom of the Dolphins Hotel, and there's a lady. She's a bookkeeper, and she do your financial statement for you."
Okay.
And I ended up being worth $3,800. I came back.
Yeah.
So I came back, and and she said, "Okay." So she took me upstairs to the senior vice president of the bank,
Yes.
And he told me, he said, "Look, this is what you do. You call me Thursday, and I'll let you know." After he took my information, he said, "Call me Thursday, and I'll let you know if we make you a loan." And I said to myself, "No, you're going to tell me no in my face."
Yeah.
So I go off in the bank, and secretary say, "Well, yes, Mr. Smith is here." And she walked me to his office. He jumped up out of his seat, and he says, "I'm sorry, Mr. Pitre, we can't help you." I said, "Well, look, this is all I want you to do. Just have a seat." I had him sitting in this chair. I said, "Tell me why I can't open a bank, though." I said, "I know the car business. I know the owners of the auctions,
Yes.
I'm able to make some money, He said, "Well, I'll give you $6,500. I said, "Now, just tell me why I can't open a bank door." He said, "Well, I'll give you $10,000. And I reached out there and shook his hand, and we started doing business.
Wow.
So it was another friend of mine that was in the cab business, and, you could buy a car, and Yellow Cab would paint it and make a cab out of it, and you paid them like $80 a week.
Yes.
But you rent it for $28 a day. So I got 2-3 cabs, and that 10,000 went up to 30,000, and I'm rolling.
Yes.
And now years pass, and the white employees wearing my T-shirts and stuff, at the shopping centers, because I had some T-shirts saying Pitre Auto Brokers, and I had friends say, "Man, I see this white lady with your T-shirt on. What's happening?" I said, "That's with friends at the bank," and they just love me at the bank. So after 4 years, I got a little money in the bank, and
yes,
I go upstairs. Mrs. Smith's secretary name was Leslie. I said, "Leslie, how you doing?" She said, "Not good, Robert." I said, "What's the problem?" She said, "Hey, Mr. Smith resigned this morning, and Ray Powell is handling your account." Now, I'd never seen Ray Powell in 4 years.
Yes.
I go downstairs, and he had his back turned to me, and I walk over there, and I said, "Mr. Powell." And he turned around, and he said, "Now, who are you?" I said, "I'm Robert Pitre." He said, "Hey, I'm going to give you 30 days to pay for all your notes to get out of this bank." I said, "Wait a minute, hold up. Now, you're going to put me out of business in 10 seconds. What did I do wrong?" He said, "You didn't do nothing wrong. Just bite the bullet." And put me out and run me out the bank, man. I had to go start all over,
Wait, hold on. So let me see if I got this straight. The very first meeting, it was direct eye contact, a firm handshake. The guy gives you $10,000.
You're right.
This guy wants to call in all their bank notes and say you're out of business, pay up in 30 days. So what?
Yeah, in 10 seconds.
In 10 seconds. Well, what's the difference between these two guys? What was the difference?
He was a racist. He was just a racist white boy. He was just a racist white boy.
Okay.
And that system, the banking system is so racist. It's racist now,
Yes.
and this is what we have to do as Black Americans. Economically, we have to change that system. We have to challenge that system.
Yes.
Because they ain't loaning us no money.
Yeah.
And see, but my deal is, but I kept, growing in the car business, and here's the deal. When I went out to the auction, the guy told me, say, "Hey, the security guard stopped me, so you can come in here." I said, "So you bought a car and didn't pay for it?" I said, "I ain't never been here before. How could I buy a car and not pay for it?" So I gave him my driving license. I said, "Tell you what, let's go to your office."
Yes.
And let's see, am I the person that bought the car and didn't pay for it? So we go in his office, and he says, I said, "No, it's not you." So they let me in the auction. So in going into the auction, I got to know all the car dealers, because, the car business was a real racist business. But I befriended the auctioneers and the ring men, and people kind of, I established good relationships with them, but you had them rednecks where they had their knife out sharpening their knives and stuff like that. And, and looking at me, but, I'm street, man, and I don't want to use no profanity, but I gave him some profanity that you're not going to intimidate me, man. I don't care who you are.
Yes, sir.
And, but the auctioneers, what they would do, if you bid against me and you didn't bid fast enough, they're going to give me the call. I mean, it was like the owners of the auction, everybody just befriended me.
Yes.
And so, in the car business, tell you a deal that happened. I was in the office with the general manager of Dallas Auto Auction, and I was telling him that they need to move the auction.
Yes.
And he says, "Why, Robert?" I said, "Well, every time it floods, this area floods out." I say, "Every Wednesday, the police write tickets to all the car dealers." And I say, "It's just not a good location." He said, "Well, where would be a good location?" I said, "Well, down at Loop 12 and Dunkerville Road is hundreds of acres of land, and it'd be perfect for an auction."
Yes.
So we just kind of left it alone. And about 2 months later, he came back to me and said, "Robert, I took your advice." And I said, "What advice?" He said, "Well, I put a contract on 100 acres, but I got a problem." I said, "What's the problem?" He said, "Well, Dallas don't want to auction at that location." I said, "Hey," and this is in, right close in the Black community, close to the Black community. I said, "Hey, let me handle that deal." And I went down and talked to the assistant city manager, which, I knew all these people, and we got the auction there. Now the auction, and this was 1990.
Yes.
Now the auction do $5.4 billion a year. They bring $135 million to the Dallas economy annually. So, and 500 jobs.
Wow.
So, and being, in South Dallas, it was tough. I mean, here's a story I'd like for you or your listening audience to tell me when you would have quit.
Yes.
I've been on the same corner right now 45 years.
Yes.
I've been burglarized more than 50 times.
Okay.
My car's been vandalized more than 250 times.
Yes.
They pulled the copper out of my building 2 times.
Wow.
I left my lot with I'm struggling, because I'm trying to get up. But I had 11 cars at the time, and I couldn't put gas in 11 cars. So what I did, I got a 5-gallon gas can, filled it up, and the car ran out of gas, put a little gas in it. And during that period of time, cars didn't have fuel injection. You put a little gas in the carburetor, you start it up, and I sell the car. So I left my lot one evening. 11 cars. I got there the next morning. They stole all 11 of my cars. But the good part about it was that the 10 of the cars run out of gas around the corner. And I went found my other car. Found my other car. And also I bought a guard dog, and I come there one morning, they stole my dog. So I had rooted myself in business in the toughest part of the city.
Yes.
But I mean, I grew up tough. So, hey, and I wasn't going nowhere. I wasn't going nowhere, and I didn't have nowhere else to go, too.
Yeah.
So, and I bought land, when I was 12 years old. I tell you, and this is what I try to make young kids understand, at age 12 years old, you can set some goals in life that could reward you forever.
Yes.
Being a little, I'm from Beaumont, Texas. So a friend of mine's brother was a foreman for a rich white family, and they had a ranch, 150-acre ranch. I love to ride horses. I'd ride a horse with no saddle, no bridle, and just let it fall off. I just want to get on his back and ride. And so my friend invited me to their family reunion, and to this wealthy family's ranch.
Yes.
So my friend's brother, was trying to catch the horses, and they had a bucket of feed, and they just shaking the bucket of feed, and the horses weren't coming in. They had all them big Bremer bulls out there. And I seen the horses wasn't coming in. They had a horse saddle up tied to a tree.
Yes.
And I just said to myself, I'm going to go get on this horse, and I'll ride him. I'll ride him out there and round him up.
Yes.
Didn't ask nobody. I didn't have good sense. So I saddled him up, rode him down the fence. Got on the horse, rode him down the fence line, went around them big old Bremer bulls and round up the horses, and they corralled them.
Yes. So
they come over to me, and they said, well, you want to ride this wild horse? And it was a Wild West pony, and, stud horse.
Yeah.
They stand up and fight you. So they saddled him up, and I got on this horse just trying to get me off and running into the fence and bucking. And, I'm riding, and everybody saying, ride him. So I rode him, and, till the horse got so tired he fell on his knees.
You wore him out.
Yeah. So they asked me again, say, look, you want to ride this other one? Hey, I'm tough kid. Hey, sure, I'm having fun too. So I rode them the same way.
Yes.
And we go to the ranch house, and they kind of bragging on me, and they grilling steaks about 3 inches thick. And I'm saying, man. So I walk out on this deck, and there's a lake.
Yes.
And I say to myself, when I get here, I'm going to give me a ranch too.
Yes.
So I go home to the projects with my mother. I said, Mom, I know what I want. She said, what you want? I said, I want a ranch, and I want to be rich. And she says, how do you know that you could do this? Now, my answer was above my knowledge.
Yes.
I said, because I know myself. And she said, son, let me tell you something. if you could find yourself, nothing can stop you. And it was like a bell went off in my head.
Yes.
Boy. Yeah. So it was like, hey, I'm going to get me a ranch and I'm going to be rich one day. But now I was, I had to, find myself, didn't know what finding myself.
Yes.
And going to school and then went to college. And I said, oh, man, college, because I'm trying to work and go to college.
Yes.
So I said, so I go out to California and I get a job with Sledge Lock Company. Hard-working kids from Beaumont, Texas, working hard. I left. I'm going to school and making $1.60 an hour, but the cost of living was so cheap.
Yeah.
You probably. So I get out there and they pay me $3.19 an hour.
Yes.
So they put me on different machines, man, and they put me on every day. They change me to a machine. I'm working, and people come and say, "Take your break, son." And I'm used to working hard. So after they had me on a 90-day probationary period.
Yes.
30 days, they say, you got a job. So after 90 days, I'm sitting at my machine. Now, this is 1969. I'm sitting in my machine, and 3 white guys come in to my machine with suits on. I said, oh, man. They said, are you Robert? They said, are you Robert Pitre? I said, no, I'm Robert Pitre. They come go with us.
Yes.
I followed them upstairs to the office, and they said, we're taking you out of the machine department, and we're putting you in the maintenance department. We're going to pay you $10 an hour.
Wow.
Now, the people of this 1969, so they're paying me $10 an hour. But the deal was because I was working so hard,
yes,
and putting out so much production, more production than anybody was putting on them different machines that they were putting me on.
Yes.
And they had to get me out of there, So I've been working, but going into business, and just let me kind of tell you, the business I bought, Skyline Ranch, and you could go to skylineranch.com.
Yes.
It's a 90-acre facility, and I bought it from the FDIC in 1993.
Yes.
Now, it was a dump.
Okay.
But right now, it's probably it's the biggest ranch in the city of Dallas. I mean, it's 90 acres overlooking the skyline of Dallas.
Yes.
So, we got swimming pool, basketball courts. We got a 8,500 square foot event center.
Yes.
I mean, just, got the wrought iron fence all the way down, like these wealthy ranches that people have. And a lot of people don't have no wrought iron fence.
Yeah, that's expensive. Yes.
And so, I mean, just a beautiful facility.
Yes.
But what happened when it was a dump, my deal was I had to run the water line and stuff like that because there was no water, no sewer, and doing all of that. But right now, I have 4 lanes in front of my ranch. I have 2 bicycle lanes. I got a university adjacent to my ranch. I got a light rail, light Dort station. It's a Dort station.
Yes.
So I got all this, and you go to the airport from it, but it was nothing. I was able to, when they were looking for a location for the university, they came to me, and I said, I got the perfect location for the university.
Yes.
Because it was 260 acres adjacent to the ranch, and I say, hey, so they bought it. City gave the landowner $3 million for the 260 acres, and the university is now, the growingest university in the state of Texas.
Yes.
And it's right in southern Dallas.
Okay.
So I was able to get the university there, and so they wanted when the university bought Dallas bought the property. It was a thoroughfare that's supposed to go through the property.
Yes.
So I'm at a meeting with the university, city of Dallas, and Dort, the light rail.
Yes.
And so the city told the university, say, look, we're going to have to, there's a thoroughfare that was to run through this property. So you're going to have, and the university, no, we don't want no thoroughfare. We don't want no thoroughfare. And I said, hey, hold. The university president, that was the taxpayers of the city of Dallas paid $3 million for this land. They donated to the state of Texas. So are you saying that you want the taxpayers to come through this land? So they said, Oh, so I say, but I have the solution. Now, Dort wants to come through, and let's do this. Let's put Dort between the university and Skyline Ranch, and university. You give them the easement for the property,
yes.
for their easement. So they gave so Dort spent $104 million to bring light rail to the university and Skyline Ranch. So we got a light rail that will go all the way to the airport. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's, and I bought real estate. I bought 26 acres on Interstate 45.
Yes.
Which, if you've heard about, it's the bullet train that they getting ready to do to go between Dallas and Houston. But the only way it could get to downtown Dallas is through 26 acres that I bought, that I own.
Wow.
And, and it's worth millions of dollars,
Yes. I love it.
Skyline Ranch is, probably worth $20 million,
Let me stop you for a second, Robert, because I want to interject some things and I want to ask some questions, all right?
Go ahead.
So when you are buying the land, right? Are you buying it by yourself, or there's other people competing against you when you bought this particular piece of property?
Well, when I bought the 90 acres,
yes,
it was they had the 90 the FDIC had the property.
Yes.
Somebody bought the property. I bid it on the property. Somebody bid it higher than I did, but they didn't know that there was no water, no sewer.
Got you.
And they had a couple of old cars there. So I called the person that was the high bidder, and I told him, I said, well, you don't have no water, no sewer.
Yes.
And you got some environmental issues.
Yes.
And he said, what? And so he let them keep the $10,000. He backed out of the deal, and they brought it to me.
Got you.
And I bought it, and I bought it at a deal.
Yes.
I bought it had my own, little financing. But it was a dump. Nobody wanted it.
Yes.
I mean, it was like, you didn't have nothing. See, I had to run a water line a mile to have water. When I ran the water line a mile, they had a gas line. I tapped into the gas line. So I ran it up to the old house. The house was built in 1937.
Yes.
A wealthy car dealer at the time owned it, and it was kind of like a retreat.
Yes.
And they let it run down. They just let it run down. It was perfect for me, so I was able to buy it,
So now, what do you use the property for now? Still as a retreat now?
It's an event center,
Okay. A retreat event center. Okay, cool.
Right. But right now we're putting sewer on the backside, sewer and water and infrastructure on the backside.
Yes.
So we looking to develop, mixed use development, residential and retail.
I love it, man.
And,
now,
right.
When Travis told me about you and told me about your ownership in terms of property, the first thing that came to my mind is this new movie that's on TV every Sunday called Yellowstone. You ever see Yellowstone?
Right. Yeah, I've seen it. There's so much drama in it.
Yeah.
It was just too much drama.
And
I watched it.
And so in Yellowstone, the Dalton family, yeah, he's the largest landowner in the country. And so when he told me that you were the largest landowner in Dallas, I said, oh, and he's black. I said, oh man, I got to get the brother to the platform. So I thank you. And I can hear in your voice the passion that you put in to do all the hard work. Now you said that you are, because I did a program about 15 years ago at Prairie View College. Right. Now, how far is Prairie View from you?
From Dallas?
Yeah, from Dallas, because I think it's in Dallas, right?
No. Prairie View is probably, I would probably say 2.5 hours. Prairie View is probably about an hour from Houston, and Dallas
okay.
Houston is 4 hours from Dallas.
Okay, because it starts with a P. I don't know, because this was a college that started with a P. Say it again.
If it's private, Prairie View. It's private Prairie View.
Okay, because this was it was right in Dallas. It was the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's right there.
Was it Paul Quinn?
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Paul Quinn. Now, how far is Paul Quinn from you?
5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You know what? I'm going to come out there. I'm going to make it my business. I told Travis, I'm going to come out there and make it my business to hang out with you guys. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Paul Quinn College, thank you.
Yeah.
And so how now is Paul Quinn College working with you as well as far as your property in the event center?
No, I mean, they have had an event or two out there.
Okay.
You know, mostly, you know, right now, Hispanics, you know, they do the quinceañeras, and
yes.
we have, you know, retreats and stuff like that. You know, weddings and banquets.
Yes.
But right now, the land is what I'm into right now. See, I'm buying another 50 acres off of Interstate 20. It's the NAFTA quarter, adjacent, right down the street from the ranch.
Okay.
You know, and we're going to do, it's in another city, like across the street from the ranch. The ranch is in Dallas, is the city of Lancaster.
Okay.
So Lancaster has some infrastructure issues, but I can work them out. Okay. You know, I make deals. I know how to make deals.
Yeah.
So I made a deal where I'm going to close next month on 50 acres.
Yes.
I mean, this is big league stuff. This is a lot of money. I mean, I'm jumping out there.
Okay.
You know, but I know that I can make it work. You know, I can make it happen. You know, so I'm jumping out there. You know, and you know, this is probably a $10 million deal.
Got you.
But it's worth, you know, $50 million development could be worth a $50 million development.
Got you.
I love it. You know, I have a good relationship with one of Jerry Jones' company presidents.
Okay.
Now, I don't have to have them in my development, but see what Blue Star does, Jerry Jones. I mean, he makes plenty of money. He buy real estate and he put in infrastructure. He sell it off to developers, and you know, and they make a little money.
Yes.
So, but me and Joe, his president, in which Joe is married to Joe's sister is married to Jerry Jones' son, and Joe and I are pretty good friends. And you know, and I called Joe text Joe the other night and say, Joe, you know, I got this big deal, and I just need a little knowledge because they doing big stuff. And you know, he called me and said, Robert, I call you tomorrow. You know, I don't need their money, but it would make my deal easier. Absolutely. Like the Dallas Business Journal. I mean, this is bigger than the Wall Street Journal. I mean, they talk about major development, $100 million development, all the big boys, and they doing a story on me now.
Yes, sir.
And that would give me some exposure.
Yes.
You know, I've been underestimated all my life, you know, that, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that, you know, but, you know, I learned, you know, and I've learned from some big boys. I mean, you know, my deal is I ask questions and I listen.
Yes.
And my questions are good questions because it's things that I need to know and want to know.
Yes.
And I've gotten some good information, you know. I met a billionaire on a $10 deal.
Okay.
Now, do you want to hear this deal?
Absolutely, Robert. I'm loving this, man. Please, this is good, man.
Well, I bought my car lot yesterday. I bought it from two brothers.
Yes. And
at closing, the private company attorney asked one of the brothers, say, you know, hey, this, you know, I'm not going to call their name, but say, you know, there's a judgment. Is that you? He said, oh, no, nothing about that. I mean, so we closed on the deal. This was like 1978. So 1980, I'm ready to renovate the property because it was the old service station, and I'm ready to renovate it. So I go to the bank say, hey, we'll finance you, you'll finance you. And when they did their little title search, they came back and said, you got a problem. I said, what kind of problem? So you only own half of the property. I said, no. I bought all the property. He said, no, you just own half. I said, wait a minute. So I go back to the title company and we look at the deal. And they say there's a man named H.R. Fender in Tyler, Texas, that paid $10 and bought half of the property on the courthouse steps. So I thought, well, let me just call Mr. Fender. Let me call him. Let me get that straight because I'm ready to renovate my building, you know.
Yes, sir.
And so I called Mr. Fender, his office, the secretary answered the phone, and I told who I was. He come to the phone. He said, my partner, Dallas, Texas. He said, I knew sooner or later you were going to call me. I said, well, Mr. Fender, I'm just calling you because I want to go ahead and give you this $10 so I can get my he said, no, Mr. He said, the title company made a mistake.
Yes.
The title company made a mistake, and I want $6,500 for my $10. He said, now I can get more than that, but I'll take $6,500. He said, if you give me $6,500, you can make the title company pay you whatever you want. I said, well, I don't have $6,500. He said, okay. Well, you go back to the title company, you tell them that's what I want. So I go to the title company, I say, well, Mr. Fender say he wants $6,500 for his $10. I said, well, we'll deal with him. So the title company attorney called Mr. Fender and said, Mr. Fender, Mr. Pitre say you want $6,500 for your $10. I said, yeah. He said, do you want to go through litigation? Mr. Fender said, I have 18 lawyers on my staff. I'm in litigation every day.
Yes.
And after they found out who Mr. Fender was, he told, look, send me my check by Mr. Pitre. Yes. So now Tyler, Texas is a little about an hour from Dallas. So
yes.
I drive down to Tyler, Texas, man. I get in, walk off in his office, and secretary said, Mr. Fender's expected you. So Mr. Fender, he said, but he's in a meeting. So he walks out with this guy with an LBJ hat on, a Rolex watch, and he tell the white guy, he said, look, that's my partner down there in Dallas, Texas. He come to buy me our partnership. And, man, this guy just broke away and run down and he said, look here, young man, if you partners with Mr. Fender, you need to keep him. You don't need to buy him out of your partnership. I said, oh, yeah, I need to buy him out of my partnership. So we go in Mr. Fender's office, and Mr. Fender say, look, here's the deal, Miss Pitre. That deal there, title company made a mistake, and that's what I wanted. There's no reflection on you. Mm-hmm. He said, go over there and look at that letter on that wall over there and tell me who that's from. I go over there and I say, President Lyndon Johnson. He said, well, President Lyndon Johnson and I went to school together. We were best friends. He said, yes. He said, now, here's the deal that I'm doing right now. There's a lady named Miss Smith that has 100 acres of land, and the government want to buy her land. And Miss Smith wanted $1 million, so they came to me. But the government just wanted to trade.
Yes.
So he said, I asked the government what they had to trade, and they had 450 acres on Lake Tawakoni. He said, so I gave Miss Smith $1 million. I took the 450 acres. He said, what you think I did with them? I said, I don't know. He said, I sold the timber for $1 million. He said, let me tell you something.
Wow.
I own 10 banks. Kilgore National Bank, Cedar Creek Bank, and he named all his banks. He said, I got 24 oil wells that pump 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. My loan limit at Republic Bank in Dallas is $60 million.
Yes.
He said, I own 10,000 acres of land in East Texas. He said, so he take me out to his ranch and show me his ranch and stuff like that. So we become friends.
Absolutely.
Yes, and he mentored me. He was my mentor.
Yes.
Every Tuesday at 6:00, he and I would talk.
Yes.
For 1 hour.
Yes.
And any questions that I had to ask. But what he liked about me, I was knowledgeable of life. He could talk life with me.
Yes.
And we talk about life. And it was some deals that I'd be doing. He'd tell me, well, Miss Pitre, all you do is this and that. And that's the way that you could get it. And, you know, and I make money. I learned from it. And so white people, successful white men, I could say that have helped me. There was a man named Gordon K. Allen, was in the funeral coach business. He told me he could have been governor of Texas, and but he didn't want to be no politician.
Yes.
And what he did, he sold funeral coaches, hearses, limousines to funeral homes, all the black funeral homes, white funeral homes in Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. And so I'd run into him one day, and I bought an old car from him, and I would go every day and talk to him for 1 hour, to sit in his office. He's an old man.
Yes.
And he told me how to establish credit, do this and that, and and then one day he told me, see, I don't care who's in my office, you come in and listen. So one day I walked off his office, and I always dressed nice. I had suits on, stuff I dressed. And guy with General Motors and Superior Bus Company was in there. And I walked in, sit on the couch behind him, and, they started turning around. He said, oh, this is Robert. I want y'all, anything we talk about is all right for Robert to listen. They were talking about a $3 million deal.
Mm-hmm.
So after the deal, Mr. Allen, he explained the whole deal to me. And his son was the largest limousine company in Dallas. And just everything, and just learning me. And so I gained so much knowledge about business and on that level where they dealing with millions of dollars and, big business.
Yes. And
it really helped. So one Saturday I went out there, and Mr. Allen had sold the fuel coach business to a white guy named Calvin Baxter. I'd go through there, and I go to Mr. Allen's office and we talk. So I went through there one Saturday, and somebody had burglarized the building. And when I walked in the door, Calvin Baxter said, I bet he knows who did that. I said, did what? And the guy say, somebody burglarized the building. I started to go hit him upside the head, but I went straight to Mr. Allen's office. I said, Mr. Allen, Calvin Baxter say I might have had something to do with the burglary last night. Now, Mr. Allen was a mild-mannered white guy.
Yes.
He jumped up out of his seat, man. He go over there and tell Calvin Baxter, put his hand in his face, and don't you never say that about Rob. Yes. Don't you never. We walking back to his office. He said, that's it. He owed me money. I'm taking my company back. He took his company away from me right there. Put him out.
Wow.
So, I could. Go ahead.
But I want to ask this question. So you answered it before I ask it. What's the importance of having a mentor?
Being able to get information.
Yes.
And you could bounce stuff off.
Yes.
Because these guys, they were very, very successful men. And, how do you do this here? What happened here? What was this experience? And, I know how to ask questions.
I guess what I'm saying, Robert, is what was it about you that these guys of means were willing to share all of their information, all their knowledge with you? What was it about you that they felt comfortable?
Because I'm a very knowledgeable person of life, I could talk to them about life, when any discussion about life. And then, I was a young man that, I wore suits and, and they just liked me for what I stood for.
Gotcha.
And really, Mr. Fender told me more about what he was doing than his sons, because after he died, me and his son was talking, and I'm telling him about how Mr. Fender bought this 1,000 acres in Alabama, and he had it was Gulf Oil Company and all the big oil companies. He was the biggest one. He was bigger than all of them on that development. And,
yes.
And so we just exchange information, because I'm very knowledgeable of life.
Yes.
From my experiences. And, I tell people all the time, God has tested me,
mm-hmm.
And I've realized that, hey, as long as I stay righteous and doing what's right,
amen.
Because I don't commit no crimes, I don't do nothing illegal, none of this shit.
Yeah.
I don't take, I don't buy hot merchandise. I'm just straight up,
Now,
I don't even have to lie to nobody. You know, I'm the most independent person that I know of.
got you. But
Yeah.
here's the other question. When you were having the challenging times with the bank and you had access, why didn't you think about starting your own your own bank or your own credit union?
That was, it takes a lot of money to do a bank, in which we had a black bank here
Yes.
in Dallas. And, it went out of business during that time in the 80s when most of the banks went out of business.
Yes.
But now, the black bank we had here, named was Sunbelt, it did not get the support of the community.
Got you.
And definitely didn't get support of the churches, because most of the churches' mortgages with other banks, and they didn't sacrifice to take their money and put it in the black bank. And that's one of the reasons the black bank went out of business.
Got you.
Is because they couldn't get enough deposits when they got in a little trouble. And then the president, they hired a president that came from Chicago that was a little slick, And,
one hand was bigger than the other hand.
and so the bank went out of business.
Yeah.
It went out of business.
Okay. And I guess my next question, because I'm really excited about this conversation, with all the acreage that you have, you ever think about putting up a boutique hotel on one of those properties?
Well,
on
50 acres that I'm buying,
yes,
we're going to put a hotel,
awesome,
an apartment. This is what the city of Lancaster wants, the university wants, the city of Dallas wants, because it's right there in Dallas and Lancaster.
Yes.
It should be, the property should be in Dallas, but somehow it was carved out to be in Lancaster.
Now,
now
you are just the landowner. You don't have the construction company to do the build out, do you?
Yeah, I built the building.
What? That's all right.
Yeah. See, here's what happened. And I always, my uncle's deceased now, but
yes,
during that 12 years old, my uncle came one weekend. He said, "Look, I need you to come work for me. I'm tearing down this old building."
Yes.
And so I go, and my job was to take the nails out of the 2x4s and stack them.
Yes.
And he had two old men that was cleaning the brick.
Yes.
So I'm doing that little work there, and I asked my uncle, I said, "Well, now, what are you going to do with this?" He said, "I'm building a new house right there on that vacant lot." And, being 12 years old, I couldn't figure out how you going to take this old lumber and these old nails that I'm straightening out and these old bricks that these two old men is cleaning, and how you going to build a new house.
Yes.
And my uncle built one of the nicest homes in the city of Beaumont.
Wow.
I mean, he put an indoor garden in there for my aunt.
Yes.
All the ash paneling on the inside, and oh man, just a nice home. So that got me interested in construction, and
yes.
People that I know. See, the bank when I borrowed the money for the event center, they gave me half the money because I had to put up all the collateral, and the bank felt like they could get all the property. They foreclosed on me because I couldn't finish the building, and I did.
Yes.
And to show you how, they broke me though. And it got down to that area. The city of Dallas had that for the white developers. That's why they didn't have infrastructure, because they were saving all that acreage for the white developers. And I kind of messed up everything when I got in, came in and bought property. So what they would do, they like with a university, they build a new street and would put sewer in the road.
Yep.
But what I was able to do is, build that building, finish that building. Now they broke me. And when I finished the building, I went to get my CO, my certificate of occupancy, and they say, "You don't have no fire hydrant." I said, "Well, y'all know that." And, you say fire hydrant. So they said, "Well, we're not going to give you a certificate of occupancy." But I was doing business with a black fire chief, and he said, "Miss Pitre, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you."
Yes.
So when he came out and after seeing that they wasn't going to give it a CO, so he said, well, let's do this here. You have a swimming pool. Let's see if we could let your swimming pool be your reservoir. So after measuring, they said, well, no, you're going to have to build a reservoir. So we carved out an area where we're going to have to build a reservoir.
Yes.
So now I'm broke. They done broke me now.
Yeah.
So I got a friend that's got a big dozer, and so after you dig about 6 feet, you hit solid rock.
Yes.
So I had to make it. I had to make it larger because I couldn't go deeper.
Yes.
So when I had to put a liner in it, and I put the liner in it, and so I'm thinking that, hey, I'm gonna call the city of Lancaster because that's where my water was coming from.
Yes.
And when I called them, and they told me it's gonna cost me about $25,000 to $30,000. Oh man, I ain't got no money. You know what I'm saying? So I said, well, I tell you what, I got a natural spring. You talking about beautiful.
Yes.
I have a natural spring where the water just as clear as the water come out your hydrant.
Yes.
So I said, well, I'm gonna go rent a pump and some hoses, and let me see if I can pump the water from the natural spring into the reservoir.
Yeah.
So I go and rent the pump, and because it's about 100 yards. 100 yards of hoses was about 100 yards.
Yes.
In length. So I said, man, and they had the hoses had leaks and stuff, and couldn't get enough pressure to pump or nothing, man. So I called the Black Fire Chief. I said, Chief Pierce, I need some fire hoses. He said, now, Mr. Pitre, now you know I can't give the city fire hoses. He said, but wait a minute, let me make a call. He called me back. He said, look, go out to the fire academy and pick them up.
Yes.
So I get in the truck and I go out. Drive out to the fire academy, and all them white boys waiting on me. They trying to see where I'm going to go with the city hoses.
Yeah.
So I get there, I pull off in there, and, I got my T-shirt on and stuff like that. And all them white boys run out there, and they say, well, where you going with these hoses? I say, sir, I don't know. I'm just here to pick them up. Boy, they let me go. They let me go.
Yeah.
They let me get away. Man, I got.
Oh,
man, I pumped day and night.
I know that's right. I
pumped day and night, and I've got my CO, and it just been, I've been tested though.
Yes.
I mean, and then with my faith, and I'm not no real religious person.
Yes.
I'm God fearing.
Yes.
But I understand faith, and I believe strongly in God.
Absolutely.
And
thank you.
So that, and I know God will test you. I tell my friends all the time, man. I mean, it could be tough, but
yes.
just keep the faith, stay strong,
yes,
and keep being righteous.
Absolutely.
Because see, I've been on the same corner 45 years, man. Everybody that looked at me.
Yes.
But go ahead and ask some questions.
So, I mean, you've shared some wonderful stories. I'm thanking you immensely for sharing these stories. But now here's my real question now, right? Race relationships between the black folk and white folk in Dallas, in Texas, how are they now?
It's not. It's very Dallas is racist, but
Gotcha.
Now black people don't have to take a stronger position. See, like it's like in southern Dallas.
Yes.
Banks don't loan money.
Okay.
There was a series. If you Google this series, Banking Below I-30.
Okay.
One of our television stations did about 10 series of racism, how these banks didn't loan money in southern Dallas.
Yes.
And I mean, and I've been able to get banks to loan money. I had a bank to locate in southern Dallas. But when these people left, the racism came right on back. So, I mean, the Dallas is racist just like all cities in America when you're dealing with economics.
Yes.
Because they don't want you to have nothing,
Got you.
But But if blacks would take a position, like yesterday, they said we had over about 200,000 people at the Martin Luther King parade.
Yes.
But they were just celebrating and having fun, but they didn't understand about economics. If those same people there could control the whole city of Dallas.
Yeah, and you know what? I want to piggyback on that. I was talking to one of my partners. I saw you were at the. I tagged you. Well, not tagged you. I liked the picture on Facebook with you and Travis. You guys were sitting together on the curve at the parade yesterday, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, but I was having this conversation with two of my friends, and that was the part that I said, okay, we've got this wrong. We've got this whole Dr. Martin Luther King celebration thing wrong, because he stood very strongly for black economics, right?
Right.
But take here in New Jersey, in Trenton, we've got a lot of organizations that do these Martin Luther King breakfasts and luncheons and things of that nature. The tickets cost, $35, $45, $65, right? But it's at a white hotel.
Right.
And they think they're doing something. And see, my thing is, if you did it for 1 year, I'll give you a pass. But when you start doing it for 10, 20, 30 years at a white establishment, and you saying Dr. Martin Luther King, his dream is alive, it ain't alive.
It ain't alive.
After 10 years, all these black organizations, we should be able to have our own, so that when you do have a King birthday or a birthday celebration or breakfast, it's going into your black community. And so we as black folks, we've got to stop this need of wanting to be opulent and wanting to be bougie. And let's just go to the local church. Let's go to the local YMCA. Let's go to the local community college where we own, where we pay our taxes to. And let's keep pouring into that until we have enough money to have our own.
Right. Now, we have to make our organization functional where they're dealing with economics.
Yes.
Our churches is taking deposits on Sundays and take it to the bank on Mondays, and the bank taking in loan it to white people to develop their community, and we get nothing.
Exactly.
We got to take a position and a stand on this here. Because economics. I mean, my grandfather said, if you don't work, you're going to steal or sell dope or depend on somebody else.
Yes.
Hey, man, everywhere I go in the city of Dallas, and I don't have no problem with Hispanics.
Yes.
But the Hispanic females is the ones that's in the building, and the Hispanic males are the ones that's outside.
Yes.
And I don't know where black folks working at.
Yeah.
But now we all into the Dallas Cowboys and all that junk that, Dallas Cowboys don't even come into the community. You might see them on television with some little white kids over in the white community. And it's just like we just accept anything, man.
Yeah. And we've got to stop that. Yes.
We got to fight our way into position.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but economically, I mean, we don't see that. We'd rather do business with other folks. And, they have one bad experience with one black person, man. I ain't going to do no more business with no black no more. That's the last one.
Yeah. And the white man can screw you over 10 times and you still go back to him. Like, I'm going back to him. Like, no, come on. I know. I got you.
They serving you, and they in cages because they scared of you.
Yes.
And then just the other night on television, man, here's a young black male, 18 years old, and robbed 4 convenience stores.
Yes.
Aggravated robbery.
Yes.
And he shot a dog in the store, and then after he killed the dog, he put the gun to the lady's head. So he ain't gonna never get out of jail.
No.
We losing too many of our young people, man, because they and if 3 out of 4 black kids end up in prison, man, that means males.
Yes.
I mean, but you got to teach them something. Give them some opportunities. Like I took all the kids around my office. Now, all of them. I take them to my ranch, and man, they grew. They rode horses, had fun.
Yes.
Now, they all was destined to go to penitentiary.
Yeah.
Because they lived in the crack house.
Yeah.
They knew all the dope dealers. But I kind of changed. But some of them went to the penitentiary. And the ones that went come back to Miss Pitre, you told us and you really tried to help us, and I ain't going back there no more.
Yes.
You know, so we have, and I think golf is good for kids, especially young boys and girls.
Yes.
But we got to give our children opportunities.
Absolutely.
Like I had one little kid, you know, I play golf, and I was playing golf one day, and there was three little boys that was fishing the balls out of the creek where golfers was hitting the ball in the creek, and they were selling the balls. So,
yes.
you know, I admired that, and I bought all the balls from the kids.
Yes.
A couple of weeks later, I come back, and the kids, they had more balls, and I bought all the balls. So I asked them, I said, hey, y'all want to learn how to play golf? I said, no, they ain't going to let us play golf. So we got up to the clubhouse. At that time, they had a Hispanic pro.
Yes.
So he said, I said, well, do you have a program for these kids? He said, no, but if you take them with you, they could play for free. So they, you know, I live across from the golf course, and they live with their grandparents, you know, near the golf course.
Yes.
So I would come up there and I started playing with them, and you know, one of them just picked it up. I got him some lessons, and some of the guys around the golf course working with him, and we put him in the Dallas Morning Youth Tournament, the junior golf tournament.
Wow.
He was the best kid there.
Wow.
Yeah. He ended up winning.
All because you saw something in him and gave him an opportunity.
Gave him an opportunity.
Yes, sir.
We got young boys that could be a better golfer than Tiger Woods that would never pick up a golf club.
Got you.
See, so we got to give these, and this is what I'm going to do with my money, because I can't take it with me.
Yes.
Is programs to help black youth.
Yes.
It's what and you know, I one of the schools right now, I got them, the little 3rd and 4th grade kids learn how to play golf.
Got you. Love it.
See, and I got it in program. And you know, I'm doing. See, I'm not a politician, so I don't have to tell people what I'm doing.
Yes, you do.
I just make stuff happen.
Yep.
You know,
mm-hmm.
and you know, right now, and this is not egotistic, but I know more people in this city than any one individual, because, you know, I've been on the same corner 45 years, and I'm helping people.
Yeah.
You know, and then I've been recognized for helping people, feeding the homeless, doing stuff, not just during the holidays.
Yes.
You know, see, and I'm involved.
Yes.
You know, I'm involved with you know, you know, I could go to my lot at 2:00 and some of them homeless people there. How you doing, Miss Pitre? Well, I'm gonna stay here until you get ready to go.
Got you.
You know, and because I don't make no differences. You know, just like I treat you, I treat everybody the same. Mm-hmm. And I have the same respect. I respect people. You know, but you know, I'm not one that you could just bully you know. And I don't. You know, I'm my own man. So, you know, if you cross my line, you got a different Robert Pitre.
Yeah.
So, but I try to not cross my line, and I try to not let nobody else bring me across that line.
Understood.
Yeah.
Now I want to ask this question. When you bought your first piece of property, right? Did you already have a team together? Did you guys put together a business plan? How did that? I mean, no. So you never put together. Okay.
No. I just had a piece of, you know, somebody had a lot. I bought a lot.
Okay.
You know, I just wanted to own some land.
Gotcha.
You know, the business. You know, I mean, when I bought my car lot, you know, my business plan was to put cars on that lot, fix it up, put cars on the lot, and make money.
The business plan was simple. I got you. So listen, Robert. What advice would you give a person that's going into business or a person that's already in business? What advice would you give them? What sage advice would you give an entrepreneur?
Well, I would say if you can, buy some real estate. If you feel and don't rent, try to buy. And, you know, that try to get you a good relationship with a bank or a credit union.
Yes.
You know, it's business is very challenging.
Yes.
I mean, and it's not easy, and you're gonna have to make sacrifices. So, once you make some money, don't go out there and spend your money up. Like I don't throw no money away. I buy deals.
Yes.
If it's not a deal, I don't even want it.
Got you.
So you got to be very conservative with your profit.
Yes.
You're gonna have to do some sacrificing.
Yes.
And just and try to be honest in your business and respectable to your customers or the community in which your business is in.
Yes.
And just try to be beneficial to everybody if you can.
Gotcha.
But it's not but you need to establish credit. Now, I would say to a person, the easiest loan to make would try to get you a line of credit.
Got you. Okay.
Now, a lot of times you may have to put up some money. I was telling the guy I said, well, if you could just if you could get a bank, and the banker is really what you need, somebody that will willing to loan you some money.
Mm-hmm.
Say, for instance, if I had $10,000 and you had $10,000 and my cousin had $10,000 and I wanted a $100,000 line of credit.
Yes.
So I would go to you all and say, let me just borrow your $10,000 for 30 days to get this line of credit.
Yes.
And I'm going to give it right back to you.
Yes.
See, when you get that line of credit, you can just write a check on it. It's the way you set it up.
Mm-hmm.
So if I got $20,000 from somebody else, and when out of my 100, I just bring y'all the 10, and if you're charging me $1,000 a piece, I pay the $2,000 and start doing business. Now, I'd buy, real estate, like where you seen Travis and I bought a historical house, which was a real estate company, and I sold it.
Okay.
A nice house. I mean, and then I bought the Elks Lodge, and I sold it. So, my deal is I buy and sell deals,
Yes.
I buy and because right now I need to be as independent as possible. And these banks are not going to, even though I proved myself over and over again, these banks aren't going to give me no money.
Yeah.
But, I've been able to accumulate cash from the deals that I made. Financially, my company is strong.
Yes.
My company owns, the only real estate, the only mortgage we have is on my 90-acre ranch.
Got you.
Which is, worth $20 million.
Yeah.
And I don't owe, I just owe a little over $1 million on it.
Wow.
And all the rest of the property is free and clear. My 26 acres free and clear. My 4.7 acres free and clear. My 3.3 acres over here is free and clear. My 3 acres over there free and clear. I own land across the street from Mobile Refinery in Beaumont, Texas, free and clear. My homes are free and clear. So, but it was, but I put my money back into my investment.
Yes.
But you got to be willing to sell. Like a lot of times I have cars and man, it says, man, I know you're going to keep that, man. I'm going to keep it until somebody buys it.
Yeah.
In which I would sell Skyline Ranch.
Okay. If somebody gave you a good offer.
If they gave me a good offer, I sell it. I don't have a material value that I wouldn't sell.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Mr. Robert, listen, brother, thank you. Any shout outs that you want to give to anybody before we conclude this wonderful conversation?
Well, go to skylineranch.com.
Yes.
You could visit me on my Facebook page, Robert Pitre, Pitre.
Yes.
And, and I'm straight up on Facebook. I deal with issues that affect our community, and I'm very outspoken. And so you could Google Robert Pitre. And I created a map called Life Guide. It's said to be one of the best teaching tools in America.
Yes.
It deals with prevention and intervention. I got a video on YouTube. If you Google Robert Pitre, and it tell you about the land that I own and, and everything. I remember I was in Atlanta and I was did a presentation and I was telling them about my land and the lady said, well, I really, not that I didn't believe you. I Googled it and say, everything he said right now is true.
Yeah. No, I'm following you now. I'm following you on Facebook now. So that's cool. And so we can follow each other and we can support each other. Wow.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So
again, we want to just give a big shout out. So what's going to happen is I'm going to send you a form. Once I send you the form, attach your bio and your photo to that form, as well as any other links that you want the listening audience to read about. Okay. But you and I, we're going to stay connected. I'm going to talk to Travis. And I am coming to Dallas to see you guys because I haven't been to Dallas in probably about 15 years. Because when I was talking to Travis, there's a small town as you're going towards Houston, or is it Houston or Galveston? It's called Wortham. You ever heard of that town called Wortham?
No.
Yeah, I think you're either going to Houston or you're going to Galveston. There's a small town called Wortham, and I was telling Travis that might be some of our kinfolk. So we got to go there and claim that land.
The plantation, that might be the plantation y'all come off of, y'all ancestors come off of.
Well, if we did, we going back to claim it, and we're going to have you buy it for us.
Well, I enjoyed it, and I hope I said something that will be beneficial to your listening audience.
Listen, man, you were fantastic. And what I loved about this interview, it was not even an interview, it was a conversation, one of those conversations that you would have if you happened to be at dinner with someone or a breakfast meeting with someone, but just having an old-fashioned conversation, right? So I thank you for sharing everything, brother. I want to wish you nothing but success. And amen, and God bless you for all that you do and all that you continue to do.
Appreciate you.
Okay, and we'll talk in text in a minute, brother. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
That concludes another episode of The Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. We hope you found this episode informative and enlightening. If you have any questions or comments about any of our episodes, please call 609-731-9311 or email kevin@minding-our-business.com. We look forward to joining us for our next one. Until next time.